African countries have been urged to professionalize their university engineering education system as one way of enhancing capacity building and producing competent engineers who would boost the quality of living on the continent and create opportunities for sustainable development. This call was made by UNESCO in its second engineering report for sustainable development, delivering on sustainable development goals. It was published on the 4th of March 2021. According to the report, African countries continues to have the lowest number of engineering professionals per capita of all regions of the world. And more worrying is the concern that there are no indications that this situation is likely to improve anytime soon. Hello world, join us for more on this. We are joined by special guest Bibu Salemana, aka the Mentor. Let's go. So thank you for spending your time with us. Of concern today, Engineer Bibu, our discussion is entirely based on that African countries needs engineering competencies to in problem solving, design and analytical thinking to overcome its social and economic development challenges. And like the former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, once said, young African engineers haven't been trained to do specific laws in the industries, and that there is need to convert their technical knowledge into useful artifacts that can be used in the industries. So now, considering this news, according to your perception, what do you think African countries are doing or have been doing to produce competent quality engineers?
Well, African countries have put in quite a lot of efforts concerning that. They've introduced exchange programs of students studying abroad, going to get some knowledge that we lack in our industries from, other well-developed countries. And there are also programs like, the SADC region. You can have conferences where people get to meet and exchange, information concerning certain challenges and all that. So there's quite a lot of things that the African countries have been trying to put in place for us to come up with a competent, industry and competent engineering community going forward. Now, despite the fact that we may have insufficient resources and equipments to make us move forward, at least they're trying to do quite a lot of things. And I feel like we still have room for expansion and we can really grow this, industry.
Wow. I really like the response, because in as much as we can try to force these governments that they are not doing much, it is not something that we can do in one day.
Of course.
But if we just maybe get our heads on what the governments are doing, we can also keep in line.
Of course, because at the end of the day, the government changes from time to time.
Yeah.
So it also has to be amongst us as people or as students to see what we can do and contribute towards everything. Because the government is, again, formulated by us, the same people. So
exactly.
we have to work together, come together and contribute towards whatever policies they make. We give a good response and we see what we can do and our interest and we grow it from that, So.
And how has the Russian system of education developed your skills that you suppose you wouldn't have gained if you studied in Zambia?
Well, honestly, I wouldn't say I wouldn't have gained if I didn't study in Zambia. But I think most of the things that I came to learn here in Russia are usually, I can say, cultural, more cultural than technical, because I learned the importance of teamwork. Here in Russia, they emphasize on coming together and solving things in groups. And I feel like the education system is also a little bit more practical. It's a little bit closer to your industry compared to I've not been in the Zambian education system, but I've got friends that are learning in the Zambian education system. If we try to discuss a little bit, I can tell that maybe they have a lot of theoretical information, but the practical side of things is a little bit lacking. So I feel like the Russian education system has opened me up into the practical aspect of applying my knowledge into the real world and all that. So
see, I would also encourage people. You come, guys, come. You can get into practical. Yeah. Now, I'm not the only one with questions.
Okay.
There are guys who have asked me questions. Yeah, let us try to check on them. One of them is raised by a Namibian student by the name of Emily Mukwana.
Okay.
She's asking that now that you're done, do you think your performance in your professional skills would lengthen when you go back home?
Nah, I don't think it's possible for my professional performance to lessen, because I studied here, and when I go home, I don't really know why she asked that question, why she was basing it on. But my course is engineering, and the course was focused on helping me learn how to solve problems in different ways, critical thinking and all that. So I don't think there's a possibility that it's going to lessen in any way.
Okay,
I have a belief, I have a saying that goes like, if you're able to see a problem, then you are most likely able to find a solution. So I'm a problem solver. I'm an engineer by profession.
Okay, so, here in Russia, you're exposed to equipments that are advanced. That maybe there are no such equipments in Zambia. So maybe you won't be practicing as you used to whilst you were here. Now, does your skill face such a threat?
I don't think so, because I'm a software developer. Right, and the most technology that we use was computers, right? Okay. So I'll solve my problem in a computer, and the computer can still work in Africa. Not so, and the type of technology, or maybe the only thing that can hinder us a little bit or slow up our processes, the speed of the internet.
Okay,
maybe or electricity, the availability of electricity. It's not 24/7 like here. But at the end of the day, we can still do something. Let's try to do something. Then, if we have any hindrances, we can solve them as time goes on. But I don't think there's any possibility of my skills being retarded.
I think she has gotten the point.
Sure.
And another question is actually raised by a Zambian student. She's here in Russia by the name of Besila Maboluki.
Okay.
Here's a question. Most African secondary geniuses, immediately they finish their studies, they hoped to study medicine, avoiding the reality that most engineers end up being unemployed or get low salaries, or their skills are just too poor to start up something of their own.
Okay.
Do you have any advice for such people?
Well, yeah, I think actually that is very true. Most of the students or graduates end up looking for employment. Others go to school so that they should get better jobs in future, etc. And passion is not so much of a factor when people are going into schools for such reasons. But my advice to them, do you have an advice? Yeah, I do. My advice to them is that, we need to be looking beyond that, because there are not many jobs that are created by governments or maybe by the private sector even. So if we pick a faculty or if we pick a field, we should be actually the people that are solving the problem that even made us join that faculty in the first place. We wanted to get employed. Now, instead of me wanting to get employed, let me be the one who's going to create jobs that's going to solve that problem. So if we become problem solvers, then we're better off. And I feel like this problem is there or is existing because most of us rely on being under someone's umbrella, being under someone's supervision. I think it's time we needed to change, shift to us being the people that are pushing these conversations, people that are setting up companies, people that are solving those job problems and stuff like that. And I heard you mention geniuses and all that. And I don't even think we need geniuses for this. We just need people that are courageous, people that are courageous enough and realize that we don't have jobs or we have this problem that has to be solved and say enough is enough. Let's start up a company. Let's do ABC. And I think we're going to progress and we're going to, find more solutions in that aspect.
Exactly. And I've also noticed this, like in Zambia, you usually see people that are intelligence. They want to join programs like medicine. Now, it has come to my surprise when I was here, like not only here in Europe, but even in developed countries, say America. Most of the geniuses, they anticipate, say, technology courses or business courses. I guess this is the same reason why their countries are developed in terms, maybe compared to us.
Well, one can argue to that fact because at the same time, it's not necessarily right to say intelligent people are the only ones that go into those fields. And again, they shouldn't. And again, they shouldn't go in those fields. I would argue to that. Why would I argue? Because even even in medicine, we still need professionals that are going to
yeah.
make narratives different in the medical, in the medical sphere. We need people that are going to continue pushing the narratives, continue solving because we have new diseases every time.
Yeah.
We still need smart people there.
Yeah.
Not everyone is going to be into technology. So we need smart people everywhere.
Yeah.
We need people that are courageous everywhere. So even if they pick that course, it's not a problem. Let them pick it. But what are they going to do with what they learn is what's important. Are they going to solve the problems we're having? Are they going to solve the unemployment problems? Are they going to, so it's not really about pointing to say intelligent people go here. No, it's about what are they going to do afterwards.
Yeah.
We don't even care if they're intelligent or not. We want you to solve, help us develop, help us move forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's the most important thing we should be looking at.
Yeah. Let's try to look on the other question.
Sure.
Okay, first, maybe according to suggestions, what do you think African countries can be doing to produce competent engineers?
It's a general. Okay, sure. I think we need to be more open. We need to be more open and more flexible with students that choose to pick the engineering course. We're not supposed to be so strict with them. Why am I saying this? Because engineering is it's like an art. A person has to be creative. A person has to be given room to grow in that sphere, so we need to deliberately loosen up some syllabuses and get rid of certain subjects that are hindering the growth of the student and give them those that are going to help them focus on their craft. It's a craft, actually. Focus on their craft and start growing that aspect, and we also need to deliberately bring in players like companies that are solving those problems in Africa to communicate with these students, to have internship, to have at least job on training, to know a little bit of some knowledge of what's going on into the the actual sphere and everything. And we can even collaborate with these other developed countries just to make sure our students are having that real sense of the actual engineering field. Because till now in Zambia we have people that can even create cars, but we don't even have an assembly point. That should tell us something. There's a problem somewhere. So, and one person can't manage to set up all that thing. We need to come together as a collective. We need the government to also put in resources to make that thing a possibility. So we need to deliberately start doing these things to make that thing possible.
I hear a lot of people, they have complaints that in Zambian education or in African education, there are situations like you're learning things that are necessary. Now, according to experience here, have you ever faced such things, like learning things that are not even like important to your course?
Yeah, I've had subjects. I've had a lot of subjects, but I won't really call them unnecessary. When you are a student, they can be unnecessary somehow, but there's the reason why those subjects are put in. For example, I had subjects like economics of enterprises. I had a subject like law. I had psychology. I had all those subjects, when you are learning. No, chemistry, I didn't have it because, software engineering, chemistry, not so much connection, but I had physics, for example. But when you're learning those things, you would think as though they are useless. You think as though they are useless, but there's a reason why those things are put in. They help you to be, on time with sorting out things. Life is not all about what you want to do. They can teach you how to multitask. That's another thing, keeping time and all that. The other thing is we live in a world full of different philosophies, full of different spheres. You have to know a little bit of something. You have to know a little bit of law. You have to know a little bit of psychology. You have to know a little bit. So those subjects are important. You are a professional. You can divert. I'm an engineer. I can divert to business. I can divert to maybe medical, cafeteria or whatsoever. But I needed to have a little bit of some knowledge. So this school system giving you those subjects, they're not useless. Learn one or two, but at the same time, you should know what's important. What do you want at the end of the day? So saying they're useless, I think is a wrong statement, but we should reduce. If you remember, my previous point is we should reduce subjects that are a little bit irrelevant and increase more effort on those that are so important. We should then be telling them this subject is not so important, but learn it. We want you to learn it. But this subject is the most important one because that's just few that you picked. So I think we can't call them irrelevant. They are relevant, but we should reduce and constrict those that are going to point them into their right direction or field.
So clear.
Yeah.
I like your explanation.
Sure.
Now, the other question was raised by Zimbabwe.
Okay.
A student from Zimbabwe. Her name is Vovo.
Vovo. Okay.
Yeah. Let's see her question. How do you feel being one of the few quality software engineers in Africa to be produced at one of the biggest technology institutions of Russia? I hope you have good plans for your homeland. Tell us.
Yeah, I feel honored, to be honest. I feel good. It's a privilege. You know, it's a rare privilege to be amongst the few that get to be produced abroad. You know, first things first is I feel indebted to my country already. Because the money that I was sponsored on is taxpayers' money. Every Zambian paid for my education. The government paid for my education. So
awesome.
Just that on its own, you know, there's a lot of smart people with great results, great potential that could have been given my opportunity, but I got it. So I feel honored by that. And what am I going to do for my country? A lot. I have a lot of plans.
That is the mentality that you want.
I have a lot of plans. You know, even if I won't succeed in most of them, at least I should do something at the end of it. And I would want to see more students also get this opportunity and get to learn, you know, in different places. Trust me, this place has been a blessing to me. Has been a blessing for the most part. I've learned a lot of things and I've grown in many different aspects.
Yeah. I think we should be bringing such information to the people so that they also get such opportunities. This is just awesome. The other question was raised by a Nigerian student by the name of Ditso Mbwanche. This Mbwanche. So he's asking, according to your profession, there are a few companies in your country that would lengthen, that would maximally utilize your skills. A high probability is that you might find up a job that only uses up 20% of your skills. How do you intend to serve your country with your profession in such a case?
Getting employed by a job that's going to use 20% of mine. Okay, so first thing you should understand is every profession is dominated in a certain business sphere, right? Mechanical engineering is dominated in the mechanical sphere, software engineering in the technology sphere, etc. So we have to understand that it's not every knowledge that you're going to have that's going to be applicable at that given time. But it's important to have it so that when that time comes, you can still showcase it, not so. So it's not really a worry that 20% of my knowledge can be used when I get to be employed or stuff, because maybe what I have now can't be accepted in a given land at the time, but in future it can be used. In future it can be. And again, we should also be looking at us not being employed with the knowledge that we have, and only 20% should be used. Why can't we be the ones that are going to bring a solution that is going to utilize the knowledge that the 80% that wasn't going to be used by a company, and we should be the ones to use it and solve the problem and be the employers instead of being the employees who are just having 20% being used. If you want to use 100% and there's no company that's providing that, that's a business opportunity, no? Because there's 80% of because there's 80% of what is not being used in the industry, and I've got only 20% that they want. Man, I've got 80, so 20 I'll put it on pause. Then I apply 80 and start a new business. You know, it's a win-win for me. So I think that's my view over that.
Okay, awesome. I like this mentality, you know. It's just so amazing. Okay, guys, catch up with you after the break. We have 2 or 3 more questions for you that are very interesting. You don't want to miss this. Keep it please.
Are you looking for a way to send and receive money from Zambia to Russia and vice versa? Or are you stuck on how to withdraw money from your international bank account? Then BL Money Services is here to serve you. Transactions below $200 attract a commission of 8%, whereas transactions above $200 attract a commission of 6%. For more details, you can contact us on +79 00 623 1706. Together, we can change the globe.
Hello everyone, are you looking for the best photographer in town? Then look no further, because Two Shots Media is here to provide you with the best services ever. If you're looking for a service, you want to get photographies or video shoots, you can contact us on +79 31 38 87 781. Two Shots Media is here to save you.
Okay, welcome back from the break. We have about two more questions. One of them is coming from a student in South Africa by the name of Deliso. He's asking that one of the strategies for African country to produce competent quality engineers is by sending them to go and study abroad. Now, because of this, do you suppose there will come a time when importing expertise from other countries wouldn't be necessary?
Wow. Okay. Honestly, I don't know. To be honest, if it's going to solve the problem of importing expertise from other countries, because we're a global village to begin with. There's no country that just solely 100% depends on itself. There's always exchange programs, or maybe there's always engineers that are being used from other countries to come and apply the knowledge that others were lacking. So I feel like that's not even something that we should be looking forward to. Why should we be looking forward to not being able to work with people from other countries? I think the major problem is not really in that. The major problem is, firstly, maybe we are not able to give our local engineers the opportunity to showcase themselves. Because even now, as we speak, I feel like our engineers can perform, can still execute. But what is it that is lacking in our economies or in our countries that is making us depend on other engineers? Maybe it can be the problem of, like I said, not being able to give our local engineers opportunities to show what they really know or what they really are. And the other problem, I feel like it's the fact that educated people are not being part of these conversations, are not part of the discussion table, are not part of those people that make decisions to see to it that we are having a certain group of people that are only favored in this aspect. So we needed people who are educated to be part of this conversation, to be able to advise, to say, hey guys, we have local engineers. Why are we only depending on foreign engineers? We needed someone who's going to be able to reason and stand up for the rest of, the engineers, to say we need such people considered in the. I remember the late fifth Zambian president Michael Chuniviasata had a very strong campaign message where he used to say, "I feel like the educated populace here in the country are cowards. They can't speak and stuff like that." It's somehow I feel like there's some truth to it, because when you're educated, most of the people feel like being quiet is another way of showing integrity. Well, to others it works well, but to some extent, we need people who are educated to contribute to the development of the country. You can't contribute in silence. You can't contribute complaining all the time or moving to the diaspora. We need you back home. And if you can contribute, if you can see the problem, like I said earlier, I have a saying, if you can see a problem, you know the solution. So we need educated people to come on board and solve those problems, help the governments or the country to come up with solutions to those problems. So concluding to that question, I feel like a time should not even come where we'll be thinking we don't have to collaborate with other people from other countries. Let's bring them. If they have the knowledge that we are lacking, why not bring them? Let's bring them. There's no reason of saying we shouldn't bring people from other countries. Maybe we should have policies that are going to say, if there's a major program or project, we shouldn't just allow a foreign engineer to be the main engineer. Let's have another counterpart who's going to be African or Zambian. There's a main engineer who's Chinese. The deputy should be a Zambian. Why? Because we want the Zambian guys to also learn how to do these things. It's not just about having a building. We should also have the knowledge. How did you raise this building so fast? What did you use? We need someone who's going to learn. If it means us paying those guys to be able to be considered on the panel of the main engineers, let's do that. At least at the end of the day, we should remain with the building and the knowledge. So if we can bring policies that are not going to chase away foreigners, but that are going to make our locals important before a project is given to a foreigner, I think that's going to help us.
Oh, I like that. Sure. And another question was raised by Zambian. He just notes that he's at once.
Okay.
He's saying, if I can look at this very clearly, the only law of the government is to create a suitable environment to learn businesses, and that's what the Zambian president is doing. That's Akainde Chema. If anyone would plan to invest in Zambia, he would surely want to employ expertise to learn his business. Does this mean that if our continent can have competent students, even when international investors like from China aim to build something in our countries, the projects they would be carried by the citizens in such a country?
Well, I think it goes back to policies that these investors are allowed to play by, because business is a game. If I am, for example, I become so wealthy as a Zambian businessman, and I decide to invest in, let's say, Tanzania or Zimbabwe, right? I'm going to have an idea of empowering my own people. I'm going to come. I won't get a Zimbabwean guy from the University of Zimbabwe and make him the manager of my things. I'll prefer coming with my own manager from Zambia, because there's I'm empowering him. There's the goal to why I want to even get him to work for me in the first place. So that's why if you see these Chinese people or these Indian people that come to invest in Africa, they come with their own people. The manager will be from their country. So how do we curve that, or how do we cut that in the aspect of us having to have Zambians or expertise who are locally, qualified to be part of the game is through policies. We need to tell the investors how they are going to play the business in our country. We need to tell them how they are going to do the employment and all that. We need to counter check if they are really employing our locals at the levels that they can also participate or perform. It's not just about leaving them or about just bringing investors and forgetting how they do the business. It's important to see how they are going to play the business and giving them rules to how they should do it. So if you want that to be a possibility, I think it's all about policy. Let the policies support Zambians being part of the game and being part of the important roles in any business aspect that investors are coming to put in.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's not just about winning investors and the money. It's also about telling them how they are going to behave in our land and how they are going to employ our people. I think that's the most important thing.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you for spending your time with us. It has been a very great time being with you.
I also appreciate being part of the program. I wanted to say I look forward to coming back here again, but I doubt if that's going to happen, but it was really great. Maybe we'll meet one time in the
of course.
in the other world, or maybe it was really great having this conversation, and thank you to everyone who's been tuned in. It's been me, Viu Salemana, aka the mentor by Kia. So thank you very much.
Sure guys, we'll keep you updated.